got introduced to Marcus Sheridan about 4 years ago, and everything that he was saying really resonated with me, mostly because as a sales rep, I am more of a talker than a typer. Chad can attest to this. So when it comes to blogging or typing up lengthy emails or trying to get my message across, if I'm not face-to-face in front of somebody, I felt like I wasn't being as effective as a communicator as I could be by just typing through email. So that's really where my journey honestly began with video. It was very awkward to get used to at first. I think now it could be potentially a little bit easier since we're used to the world of Zoom and we're used to a little bit more virtual meetings and turning that camera on. So whether you are in a sales defined role or not, I think video could be used everywhere in your organization. And part of the topic I'm going to talk about is how you can use that in your prospecting efforts. I'm going to talk about how you can use that internally within your dealerships to convey your message and to celebrate wins and just share messages regarding clients more seamlessly throughout. So back a little bit to the introduction of video and why it's important on Marcus Sheridan. So things have really evolved in some of his trainings, and I'm going to shout out and say, if you haven't yet, or if you're interested in more information on a lot of what I'm talking about, I highly recommend that you grab The Visual Sale. This is a fabulous book, and I just love it from beginning to end. And what I'm going to say about video is this: everybody can listen to it, everybody can train up on it. Just like anything, you can read all of the instruction booklets that you want. The differentiator is actually doing it. So when I learned about video, I went through this training with about 60 other sales reps. Guess how many sales reps actually started implementing this day to day and saw traction right away? There were 2 of us. There were 2 of us. So I did have a counterpart that went with that as well. So definitely recommend. And the results are just staggering. They say that 70% of your client's buying decision is made before they ever talk to a sales rep. So that can go into a lot of your marketing, which is not necessarily our focus today, your corporate marketing, your corporate branding, but people are out doing their research and they want to know you, trust you, like you, and understand your message. So they're researching your products, whether they're talking to you or not, before they might even contact the sales rep. So by putting yourself out there with some video, you can really help see that message along. Another fun fact, 80% of the video, 80% plus of the traffic out on the web today is consumed in video form. So people are watching video. So that's enough about stats. Let's get into some meat and potatoes here. Where do I see video falling into the Culligan dealership network? Is very interesting because we're talking with some of you at CDana. People are like, well, how does that really relate to me? My clients might look different. I have a different product. I don't understand how I can really incorporate video. So this is going to be all about you guys. So in order to tailor it the best of the ability, I want everybody to grab the chat. I know we haven't yet, but grab the chat button. And I want you to write down one of the most commonly asked questions that you get every single time that you talk to a new prospect, a new client, you walk into an office to find out who's the decision maker. What are some of the first questions that you get regarding your company, your brand, who you are, your services? Let's write those in the chat. And I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna let costs. There you go, Amber. Chad, you can go ahead and pop some in there too. Chad said spent time in the field. What were you hearing? How much salt will you use? Great question. Keep them coming. What is the process to buy? Great question. What does that look like? How long have you been with the company? Excellent. Who do I call if it breaks? They're coming in. Are these resonating? What models do you have? What warranties? What types of products do you have? What service lines? What are your most popular? All of these questions can be in that Q&A. How quickly can I get? Oh, supply chain. There it is. Do you offer financing? Great question, Reed. Okay, the reason that I bring it up, one of the single most effective videos that you can add to your sales process is something that you call an 80% video. And an 80% video is simply asking everybody in your company, not just sales, not just frontline, not just customer service, ask everybody in your dealership to have a notebook next to them at their desk and write down top questions that they get throughout 1 week. So there's a little task. Have everybody write down the questions that they get for 1 week. Compile, you're going to see a lot of trends and you're going to see a lot of duplication. And with that, pull out maybe the top 80% of those questions and then do a video on it. And then when you have that video, a couple places that you could distribute are your YouTube channel. You can also, this is great to send one-on-one. So in sales, let's say that I have a lead or I have a referral into a new business. I'm going to walk into that business. I'm going to try to get a appointment with the decision maker. And let's say I even have maybe a warm lead through an email. One of the first things that you can send is, in addition to trying to set that meeting and appointment, is, and by the way, we have some commonly asked questions before our next meeting. If you would please take the time, take a look through these. It'll help answer a lot of the concerns that you might have and really make the most of our time together. When you sit down and add, and the premise behind this is when you sit down and look at the amount of time that a salesperson spends in a discovery or in a conversation answering the same thing over and over and over and over again, you're going to see it's a lot of time. So even if that person doesn't watch the entire 80% video, they've seen it, they have it, and those that do, you get to go in there and you know that's going to be a warmer lead and you know that they're going to have done their research and you're going to be that much further along in the sales process. So ask everybody in your organization to compile it. And this video, it can have, each sales rep can have their own flavor to it. So they can record 5 minutes, 10 minutes and just say, hey, Chad, here are some of the most commonly asked questions that I get. And here's a quick video that outlines them. So I'm going to pause there. Questions, Chad? I know that you have comments around there and what you've seen effective in this as well.
Yeah, so the 80% video, it is a video that you can do individually. I could do it sitting right here. I've got a list of videos that and questions that I get asked all the time. And then at the end of the week, I'll either update 2 places, one that I send out from a repository of videos or my introduction video. And if any of you are connected to me on LinkedIn today, you see my #1 most viewed content on video is the my email introduction video on About Chad, and she'll go into that. But I've seen internally us use the 80% video as either a follow-up, a leave behind, or after I schedule the meeting, and it greatly speeds up the call. That's one of the key advantages, is it speeds up the call and it puts your prospect in the driver's seat as far as asking questions that we all want to answer for them. They do it on their own time, which I think is impactful.
Perfect, thank you. And that's also something to work with your marketing team and make sure that it's front and center on your website as well. So as people are doing their research, as they're typing in information, it's really cool to go back through, and I'm going to use Marcus Sheridan again. He has a really interesting story on what to put on your website and the type of information that your clients are looking for, but they want to be doing that research ahead of time. And a lot of these are going to be consistent. You might have a little bit different process in some of these answers. And so what models do you currently have? That's going to be driven, you know, by your suppliers. That's going to be driven by Culligan International. There's going to be several factors. And so how to attack those questions is to simply call that out. And if you have a revolving stock, you could say, a very commonly asked question is what type of models or what type of product do we currently have in stock and how quickly can we get that? And I just want to address that with you right now and let you know that it is dependent on a couple of different factors. Here is where we can all get our stock from, and we will do our best to get it in a timely fashion. We have a commitment to our clients to be able to get a product that they want within X amount of time. So feel free to share the factors that determine that, even if you don't have the exact answers. Chad asked, what is your installation process? That is a great question when people are going through the next steps. You can easily outline that one might be variable depending on, if they are commercial or if they are residential. And so you'll want to outline a couple of those, and you're going to have all of your different factors there. So feel free to call it out. Pricing is a big one. There's a lot of things that was the first question on there, and it's the first question on our buyers' minds. We are a professional services firm, and believe me, it's one of the first questions on our buyers' minds. And for us, instead of just saying it depends, we get to go in and say, the price, and I'll put it in terms here back to your organization, your product, but here are the factors that all will weigh into the price of the product. One, it's the supply and where we can get the product at there. Another one could be which model that you're going to. Do you want the base model? Do you want to have it to be bottleless? Do you want whatever the factors are that weigh into that pricing? Financing can depend on the number of locations. It can depend on, variables there. So just call out each of those items with your video, and don't be afraid to address the question. I'll just say that, just let them know what goes into it, because you can get more detailed down the line. So there's a little hot tip there. Now I'm going to pop over here to share my screen and walk through. I want to walk through. There's Chad. He mentioned it, and I called him out on it and brought him right up front and center. So the most valuable piece of content, moving away from the 80% video, the most valuable piece of content that we've seen as a sales team is simply to have an advisory team, an about me video on our email signature. So at the very bottom of our email signature where it says, Chad Greenlee, business advisor, Bergen KDV, with his phone number, all of his detail, find me on LinkedIn. He has this about Chad. And you click that, it will share. And if you go to his LinkedIn, he has it posted today. It'll share information about Chad. It'll share about, just real quick, about his role, about what that's relevant to the person watching it, and then what he enjoys doing in his spare time a little bit too, because there's an extra connection. For me, in mine, it says at the end, I really enjoy biking. And you would not believe how many people say, oh, you enjoy biking? Tell me more about that. Where do you like to go? What kind of bike do you have? I like it too. So it really connects you, and it humanizes your email more than anything. It turns you into a person rather than text before you meet with somebody. So Chad, anything on the about me bio?
No, and I think it's important as we think about how professional we want to be in the world. We know once I hand wrote about Chad, that was the biggest game changer in people clicking on it. And I picked that up from Nicole. I picked that from others. Is we want to have everything perfect. What we're showcasing today is make it less perfect and show that you're a real human, and show that yes, we are going to be professional, but we live in the community. We are part of the community. We have lives. The end of mine, I talk about my Greenlee Zoo, the 9 animals that we have within the walls of the Greenlee household. And I get more questions and conversation starters around that piece than anything else that I possibly do. And why is that? Is because people can relate and resonate with that. And I'm not afraid to talk about it. And you'll see from Nicole, she's not afraid to do things that are quote unquote that we may have been conditioned to be less than professional, but are what I consider humanistic needs in this whole process.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. So I just put some other video ideas, and I'm going to get into the sales process and how some of these work. If you have anything to demo, what's really great, and I'll walk through a little tutorial on a couple of platforms. So all of you got an email that had a personal video, how fitting, right? A one-on-one video that I just recorded with my webcam on my computer and sent to you. But there are some really cool tools that let you just hit play and it'll automatically record your screen for you on half of it, and then it'll record your face on the other. And you can choose to do just fully demo screen share, and it's all free software. This might not be any news to you, but it's free software to use for you and your team. So if you are ever needing to do any kind of demos or screen share or walk somebody through pricing, great idea to do it on video rather than typing an email and just sending the attachment. Also, if there's a part of a document that you want to send that you really want to highlight, it's great to just get on video and say, hey, I know I sent you the attachment, but I really wanted to highlight this piece and this is why, and have them kind of hear it, have them explain it. Thanks, Chad, sent over there the Wistia video there. Assignment selling, I'm going to get into this. Love assignment selling throughout my sales process. And then personalized responses. So following up from meeting invites, I'll get into this a little bit more. On LinkedIn, you can even record a video. Did you know, and I know that you guys are interested in B2B sales, and you're interested in learning more about LinkedIn because we had great attendance at Chad's meeting. It was a topic at CDANA. I know it's continually evolving, but even if you grab your phone and you go out to your LinkedIn messages on your phone, you can hit record and you can record a quick video and send it to a one-to-one message even on LinkedIn. So they're making these resources really easy to communicate in all sorts of platforms in various ways. So I'm going to get into a basic sales process and how you can use video throughout. So I wanted this to be very actionable, and that's going to start with a big on process and why. Who cares about sales process? Number one, your prospect and your client. Chad put this as one of his questions. What is the process to buy? Right? So it's really important that we know what our sales process is so we can set that proper expectation with prospects when we're meeting with them, and as clients as they continue to grow. You know, what is our process for adding a new location and bringing in new equipment? What is our process for, you know, XYZ, fill in the blank? They need to know the process for that on your service team, just like they do as your sales process. So being able to communicate that is really important for your prospect and your client. Your leadership team, this is important too, so we can know from our sales teams, for those business leaders on here and sales leaders, we want to know what's working with our sales teams. Are they getting hung up on a discovery and they're not getting to the care about the process and what's the next step? So it's important that it's communicated throughout. The service and delivery team, they want to know what's going on with sales. They need to know pipeline, supply chain, back again, and how to service it. What comes first, the sales rep or the next service team member? And what are those triggers? If we are all knowing we're at the process, we're able to communicate and build that strengthen the team more efficiently. And then you, as the front line, as the sales prep, should care about process more than anybody else. So you know where your role is, who you need to be communicating when, and how to move things along. So now we're going to insert video into some sales process. So I dummied down and just have a generic process here. Your dealership might have elaborate into more steps or less steps, but I wanted to show how video will play in a part of this. So throughout the process here, first step will be identifying that opportunity. So as a sales rep, I like to research who is my ideal client, where do they hang out, how am I going to get an introduction to them, do they want my product, do we want to work with them, do a lot of research on who's the right person to talk to. You know, some companies might be large enough that it is the facilities manager, that they have the buying power and they could be the decision maker for you. Some of them you might need to go higher up with the leadership level, and some of them you're just going to have to get your first meeting to go in there and find out, right? So it's not going to be all cut and dry who has that decision power, but you're going to research them. And then as sales rep, try to figure out how to get in, provide some thought leadership, use your LinkedIn posts, connect with them in other social settings, and then really find out their competitive landscape as much as that we can. How do I use video in this? All throughout it. So when I am trying to get in with a client, if I have a warm referral, I'll follow up with a video. and I will say, thank you, Sherry, so much. I really appreciate this introduction to Reed. Reed, it's great to meet you. My name is Nicole. I look forward to chatting with you. I know that you and Sherry have a great partnership, and she's shared that you really enjoy XYZ. Can't wait to connect with that. Can we grab coffee soon? Or, prefer me to come to your office, whatever that might look like. But what can be done in an email? Think and sit back and think, can I take an extra 2 minutes, turn my camera on, and send this in a video to once again humanize me? If you meet somebody, this was key when I started here at this new role. I started at November of 2019, and networking events were like off the roof, and I was going to all of them, and I would grab business cards. Next day I would come back and I would sit in my office and I would just crank out 1-minute videos to them. Hey Matt, it was so awesome to meet you last night. I really look forward to getting to know more about you and what your firm is doing. Let's stay connected. Can we grab coffee? Can I meet with you and your team member? So after networking events, I would send a video. So much so that one guy heard that I did that, and I missed sending him one, and I did not live that down for a long time. So I had to get him his video. 2020 hit and it came more virtual, so we were doing more video anyway. But that still really resonates. I know there's a lot of different corporate events, golf outings, different things. When you're out in the community and you're meeting people, kick them over a video. It'll mean a lot. I know handwritten cards are still a portion of that. So however you incorporate, it's just a personal touch. Chad, anything on that, on getting the meeting?
No, I think it's again, what we've been asked questions. How do you use CRM to, automate this? We're not talking about automation. We're talking about how to do things that make you stand out. But then also, I want to reiterate the fact, when you send the video, somebody can view that when it's good for them. And it may be a Saturday, it may be late at night at 10:30. Depending on where they can meet you, you don't have to meet them. And it's a lot of opportunity to exercise that now in a very mobile world, to think about the power of what 1 or 2 minutes taken out of your time to follow up. Somebody else can then view it on their time, instead of, we all see the calendars just get jam-packed with meetings now with this type of stuff. This is an opportunity to reach outside of that, outside of the working hours, and give them the opportunity to view it when it's right for them.
Awesome. Thank you. Another thing too, we're going to lead into the next sales step here, which was really have that introduction meeting. So you're going to be meeting with them live or virtual. I should have added a few more assignment selling on here. So if I am meeting with a new prospect or a new client, oftentimes I will grab a quick video, and instead of having that generic 80% video where I'm talking about all the frequently asked questions, if I know that they want to specifically talk about one item, I will just send a quick video and I will say, before our time together, I just wanted to address a couple of items that usually come up within the first 5 minutes. And here's some information, and then I can direct them to my website, or I could even direct them to maybe a process. Just give them a little bit of a clue what's going to be going on. Or I could just say, as a pre-prep for an agenda. So in order to make the most time for each other, here's what I'm going to be prepared for. Here's what I look forward to talking about. Please bring any additional ideas and we'll make sure to cover those as well. So it's another touch point before you can meet with them. Stay top of mind. This is maybe one of the best ways, if I would say, is like kind of that follow-up. And sometimes we'll have discovery meetings and the client gets busy and we could get so lost with their day-to-day, or they're not quite ready to make that move yet. And so as follow-ups, just sending them additional information to let them know that you're still thinking of them. I want to add, you're going to see a lot of videos through the sales process. I don't use these videos all the time for all the same people. I kind of pick and choose when appropriate. So one person isn't getting 10 videos from me, throughout 3 or 4 months, but I will sprinkle them in there when I feel like it's relevant and it's going to make an impact. Creative proposal.
Yeah,
go ahead.
To add there,
Thanks, Chad.
add there real quick. So the way that I use that as well is I have various products or baseline things that I get asked a lot. Like I work a lot with executive teams, using organizational health, and I have different tools within those subsets. And I get asked the same question time and time again. So I will do a general video on one of those, and I'll post just a picture in the chat of that. And then anytime that somebody says, can I learn more about that? That's already done. It's a quick link and I send it and share it to them. The other thing is to think about networking. We have all been asked, hey, can I pick your brain? Can I get 15 minutes of your time? And it's important, as in the sales and buying process, to not discount any opportunity to network, but also to make best use of your time. So sometimes when I'm pressed for time, I'll send my pick your brain video and I'll send it back to them and be like, hey, look at this and see if anything resonates with you. And I know if they've watched it, then it's actually a buying signal or something that I can get, and we want to talk seriously about it, instead of that generalization of time is valuable. And if you're just picking my brain, I'd like to know specifically what I can help you with, or what the mutual you can help me with. So it's a way to speed up things by doing it once.
Great. If I am asked by a client or a prospect, oh, just email me over the proposal and I'll review it. Or if I have a conversation and maybe I review the proposal in a virtual setting, but I know that it's not the decision maker that I'm actually talking to, and they say, I'll talk it over with the board, or I'll talk it over with my boss. That is a great time to record a quick video. And if I'm having a Teams meeting, if I'm reviewing it, and I know somebody else is going to make the ultimate decision, I'll say, hey, I'm going to send over a quick video, share that. So then they can see, I can tie in a lot of the points that we made during the sales process and what I know, and it's more face-to-face time rather than just a piece of paper that they're going to print out. They're going to look for things. It might just look at the end goal pricing. It might not be able to dictate everything that goes into it, or everything that we learn in the discovery process. That lets them know, hey, I hear you. I understand what you're looking for. I look forward for the opportunity to work with you. And just once again, humanizing that process. So in doing this, and I'll show you again in a minute, you just click a button, it records you, it records your screen. You're able to walk through that process, highlight the points that are most important. And let's be honest, proposals typically have some variables to it. So here's where you can call out some of those variables as well. Based on your discovery, I understand that you have 5 locations that you are looking at installing these products in. As it continues to grow, this is what you can expect. That gives you just time to talk through with the correct people that are going to make those buying decisions at the end of the day. Gain commitment, next part of the sales process. Don't have a sale without a signature. Better grab those. And then this is where some rubber hits the road with service and solution teams and next expectations. So setting the project and or service goal, delivering the product, whatever your final end game looks like. If there's going to be new service tech introductions, you could easily record a video, and even if you're the sales rep, and have their picture and say, hey, this is Sherry, and she looks forward to being at your place of business on XYZ time. This is what's going to happen. This is what you can expect. And they can save that. So any kind of process stuff, the client can save it so that they know that everybody's on the same page. Maybe there's multiple facility managers that will have to be impacted. Maybe there's multiple people at the front desk that need to know your faces. Just thinking of ways that your service team can also incorporate this to be known within your client base is really important. The service delivery, ongoing support. I have a flashlight on my head here, much like the Culligan water here, but one of my largest online retailer clients sold flashlights. They sold a lot of flashlights online retail. They're a Chinese-based company, so ordered some of those flashlights and was really excited to welcome them to the team and put one on my head. And it's a great flashlight, by the way. If anybody's looking, I can send you the site. Another way that we use this internally is sharing the wins and what's working within the organization. With many of your dealerships, I know that it's all hands on deck, and we all want the internal referrals. We want our team members to also, when they're not at work or when they're talking to clients when they are at work, to be thinking about who could be the next client of ours and who would be some of our good fits. And a great way to continue to engage them and think about that is by sending videos about what's working and how you got in and some of the latest wins. So our team here internally, every single day, we use Microsoft Teams, but we have an internal Teams channel. It could be an email, however you communicate internally. We have a different person that will share a win. And it's not just, hey, congratulations, we signed up this company, they're now going to be working with us. It is, you know, somebody on the service team was talking with this potential client and was able to solve this problem. We were able to upsell, whatever, celebrating the wins, and just picking out the smaller things and what's working and why you got there. And communicating that through video so they can see your excitement, the team's excitement, and everybody can take time to celebrate that. So there's another idea on how we use this internally. And as Chad here, I'm going to go into some resources and show you how easy it is to actually click the button and make this happen here in a minute. But that wraps up sales process.
Yeah, now think about, as we just wrapped up sales process, think about onboarding new employees, think about customer service representatives. If you start recording external and internal videos, you know, one at a time, you can compile that information into a pretty powerful onboarding experience, A, for employees, and B, for customers that come on board as well. So there's a variety of uses as you just start compiling a library of resources. And again, we're not talking about breaking the bank or high production. We're just talking about putting the power of your knowledge on camera in a really simple way.
All right, before I show you how this magic happens here, how I use the tool, does anybody have any questions? Please feel free to unmute. Anybody want me to elaborate on any of that? Hopefully it was resonating there. If anybody has a success story on how they've used one-on-one video too, feel free to chime in. We'd be happy to spotlight you. All right. So here is how easy this is. And I have the next page here will be some resources, but I use application called Soapbox. And once you download it just into Google, it actually will bring in a Chrome extension. So I have right here a video recorder. And so if I'm looking at recording a video to send to Chad, for instance, I can click this button and I'm going to turn my camera off on Teams because it doesn't like me to share resources. So let me get logged in. And I'm going to turn my camera off on Teams so I can show my camera here. There we go. It's on a different screen, so I'm looking a different way. All right, so I click the button, I get logged in, and here I am. I have it. All I need to do is start recording. I have lots of screens open. There's Chad. And then I pick a screen. It makes you pick a screen. There's Reed. Hi, Reed. So it makes you pick a screen. And so I'm going to pick a screen. And I'm going to hit share. We're going to go through this whole thing real quick. Hi, friends. I am so excited to show you the power of video today and how simple the tool like this can be used for you and your teams. Check it out. Stop. There I am. And there is me. And there is the screen. And then the easiest editing for even the non-video users, down at the bottom, there's a ribbon. If I didn't like the beginning, I can crop it a little bit. And most importantly, I can click in it and I can say, I don't want them to see me. What's important is my screen and to hear my voice. So I can just do full screen. I can do just all me, or I can do split screen, and you can change it throughout. So very easy there to edit. You might need to fast forward. What minute is it? We're about on minute 40. So if you're looking back at the recording and want to fast forward everything else, we're about minute 40. Once you get there, you just title it. And then, as Chad said, you can use a video, or you can grab a piece of paper, do your message. You can take a photo. There it is. That's how I did yours. Use that photo. And the last part is sharing. So all I need to do is click this, share a link, grab the thumbnail. I'm going to put it right in our chat. And you will see the power of video created in Wistia in real time. So that was 2 minutes, right? It was less than 2 minutes, maybe.
Well done, Nicole.
Always fun to do that little demo. All right, so here's your resources. We'll copy these into the chat as well. I use the first one. I just use the first one for you, wistia.com. Another great one is Vidyard. Pick and choose. Chad said that attaches to HubSpot if you're marketing, or if you have a preference to that. He likes loom.com. Keep it simple. And then another powerful tool that we did not talk about today is recording videos. So our team is really big on recording what's working with some of our subject matter experts, bringing somebody else into the conversation. And with Microsoft Teams, or even with the free trial on Zoom, you can record an interview and have it side by side and download that to use as content as well. So that's what I have today. Would like to open it up for any Q&A. If not, get people out a little early.
Who has used, so we've gone over different ways to use video. We've gone over process. We've done a live demo of what we do, and it literally takes 2 minutes to produce one video and send it out. What questions do you have around, or what comments do you have about how you could utilize this throughout the channel, your process, and maybe one takeaway that we could elaborate on? You were just that good, Nicole. You answered all the questions, I think.
Mic drop. No, or else they're just like, whoa, what is she doing over there?
Well, before we let everyone get about and maybe grab a last minute bite to eat if you're not eating off camera, we have our next scheduled town hall will be September 14th. We are bringing in a partner of ours called Fusion Inbound, Fusion Digital. They are going to be discussing how to automate your marketing process on the lead and make your lead generation side work for you instead of against you, and integrating that into the process. We're really excited about that. That'll be externally outside of Bergen KDV, but a great partner of ours and a great partner for the Culligan channel. We'll have more scheduled. We have them already scheduled October, November, and December coming as well. And as we always promise, you're going to get the full slide deck and the recording to this, along with the tools here once they become available by the end of this week. So thank you, everyone, for participating and joining us today. I know you found at least one tidbit that you can introduce into your process. And if not, email Nicole directly on that video, and she will send you a video, I'm confident, right back to you showing you how to do it. But again, if you have any questions here at Bergen KDV, we are happy to help. We provide a whole slew of solutions that help the channel, that help you become better, all the way to the front end from what we've shown you today, to automating the back end office process through a variety of solutions that we are understanding the Culligan channel. So Again, I'm Chad Greenlee, the business advisor and account manager. You've seen Nicole Mead, director of channel sales, and then Reed Graham, who is channel sales leader. We appreciate your time today and look forward to interfacing with all of you either at Tri-State or at the CDANA conference here coming up next spring. Have a great day, everyone.
Al.
Thanks, team.